Before the flame ignited, a man in full or half. The city, that sprawling, sweat-glistened beast of Atlanta. Or was it New York? No matter. It was every southern fried metropolis mashed into one throbbing pulse of ambition and asphalt, where the skyscrapers jabbed at the heavens like middle fingers to the gods, and the traffic roared like a perpetual hangover. And in the thick of it, striding through the Buckhead haze with his jaw set like a bulldog's and his suit tailored sharp enough to slice bread, was Conrad Hensley. No, wait. Call him the masculine for this tale, but she was no fragile flower. Oh no. She was a woman in full, all 5'10" of her, with legs that could outpace a thoroughbred and a mind that spun deals faster than a cotton gin in high season. Real estate queen, darling of the developers, the kind who could charm a zoning board into approving a skyscraper on a swamp while sipping sweet tea and flashing that megawatt smile that hid the shark teeth beneath. She didn't know it yet. Hell, neither did he. But the flame was already flickering, that twin spark buried deep in the wiring, waiting for the short circuit. She was charging through her day, briefcase swinging like a pendulum of power, heels clicking on the marble lobby of the Peachtree Tower, where the air conditioning hummed a frigid symphony and the elevators whooshed up to the penthouse suites reserved for the big boys, the wheeler dealers who measured success in square footage and stock options. Buy low, sell high, she'd bark into her cell phone, that brick of a Nokia back then, voice booming with the confidence of a woman who'd clawed her way from a 2-bit suburb to the top of the heap, leaving a trail of broken competitors and ex-lovers gasping in her wake. Across town, in the gritty underbelly where the warehouses squatted like forgotten dinosaurs and the air reeked of diesel and despair, lurked the feminine. He, the man with calluses thick as boot leather and a back broad enough to carry the weight of the world, or at least a forklift full of crates. Warehouse grunt, blue-collar hero in a grease-stained jumpsuit, muscles rippling under the fabric like coiled springs, eyes sharp as tack nails scanning the inventory sheets under the harsh fluorescence that buzzed like angry hornets. He didn't talk much. Words were for salesmen and politicians, but when he moved, it was with the deliberate power of a man who'd learned early that life was a grind, a daily wrestle with pallets and payloads, sweat dripping into his eyes as he heaved another load onto the truck, the engine growling approval. They met by accident, or so it seemed, fate's little joke, the universe chuckling in its sleeve. She was storming out of a botched meeting, steam practically rising from her collar, when her Mercedes, sleek black beast, status symbol on wheels, clipped the curb near the loading dock where he was catching a smoke break, the cigarette dangling from his lip like a dare. Tires screeched, metal groaned. She leaped out, fury incarnate, skirt hiking up just enough to flash those powerhouse legs, yelling about insurance and idiots who parked trucks like barricades. He flicked the butt away, stood his ground, arms crossed over that barrel chest, and met her glare with a steady gaze that didn't flinch, didn't apologize, just assessed, like he was sizing up a faulty shipment.
"You blind, lady? That dock's marked clear as day," he growled, voice low and gravelly, the kind that rumbled from deep in the gut. "Blind? You're the one blocking half the street with that rust bucket," she shot back, cheeks flushing red as Georgia clay, but damn if there wasn't a spark in her eye, a recognition flickering before either could name it. And there it was, the flame kindling, unseen, unspoken, before the labels stuck. No twin soul nonsense yet, no cosmic babble about destinies entwined, just raw attraction mixed with irritation, the push-pull of two forces colliding in the urban jungle. She noticed his hands first, big, scarred, capable, the kind that built things instead of signing papers. He caught her fire, the unyielding drive that mirrored his own stubborn grit, hidden under layers of corporate polish.
They argued for 5 minutes flat, voices echoing off the concrete canyons, drawing stares from passers-by in their Brooks Brothers suits and hard hats alike. Then, inexplicably, laughter bubbled up, hers sharp and surprising, his a deep rumble that shook the tension loose. Coffee? Why not? A greasy diner around the corner, formica counters sticky with syrup, waitresses with beehive hairdos, slinging Joe black as tar. Over mugs steaming like factory chimneys, they talked, not about flames or fates, but real stuff. Her cutthroat boardrooms where egos clashed like gladiators, his back-breaking shifts where one wrong lift could snap a spine. No woo-woo, no destiny whispers, just two strangers peeling back layers, finding echoes in the other's scars, the way her father's abandonment fueled her empire-building frenzy, mirroring his mother's quiet endurance that taught him to shoulder burdens without complaint. By evening, the spark had ignited something fiercer. A night in her high-rise condo, overlooking the glittering sprawl, sheets tangled in a frenzy of sweat and release, bodies slamming together with the urgency of a deal closing at midnight. No words of forever, no promises etched in starlight. Just the raw, animal truth of connection before the myths took hold, before absence would carve them deeper, before notes and burn barrels and integrations reshaped the wreckage. But oh, the universe knew. It always does, that sly operator in the background, tallying the status symbols and the soul quakes, watching as these two, man in full, woman in full, barreled toward the split that would define them, all without a clue that the flame was already twin, already burning hot enough to forge or destroy. And in the afterglow, as the city lights pulsed like a heartbeat below, they lay there, breaths sinking without effort, not knowing this was the prelude to the firestorm, the raw blueprint of what would come. Timelines speaking, colliding, diverging in precision cuts. But for now, just heat, just hunger, just the man and the woman, full and fierce, before the knowing ruined everything, or saved it.